What is going on, guys? Scott Newby here with Friday Night AV. Base brings us together. Living it with Scott Cat podcast. I don't know what title I'm going by anymore. I'm all those titles and more. And Janitor of the Year I'm going for as well. So please vote for me. So Friday, September 20th, 2024. I'd like to welcome you to live episode number 24. I'm here tonight for Friday Night AV. Got a special guest for tonight. Been looking forward to hanging out with him. Busy weekend for anybody that's been following around on the YouTube channel or the Facebook group. So tomorrow is our very first car audio show that we are hosting. Base brings us together. You guys are used to me hosting in home. Kat and I have moved from the home out to the parking lot. So we're going to give that a shot. Looking forward to it. Looks like we're going to have a good crowd tomorrow. It's going to be a little hot, but that's all right. As long as there's no rain, it doesn't look like it. So certainly looking forward to that. Before I go any further, certainly want to thank our premium sponsor on this channel, Clarity Creations. And if you haven't checked them out, you need to. They have these exotic animals, and the people coming to the car audio show tomorrow, they're going to be able to see these dwarf pythons and these geckos and some really cool stuff. They're going to be there live tomorrow, putting on an exhibit for everybody at the show. So certainly looking forward to that. If you're coming out to the show, that is awesome. And Kat will be live with me next week. We're going to talk about how the car show went, her thoughts on it, her first time throwing an event with me. Kat's certainly been hands-on with me this time, getting everything together. So a little nervous. Hopefully I sleep good tonight. We just got done waxing up, cleaning up the Jeep, getting everything ready. So tomorrow we're good to go. We got our playlist set up. Hopefully everything goes smooth. So like always, guys, thank all the subscribers, Patreon members, everybody that, karate chops that subscribe button. I can't say smash or hit. That's what everybody's doing. So we're karate chopping the subscribe button over here. So my guest tonight. Oh, before that, we're coming up on a year, guys. So me and Kat are thinking of like a cool giveaway. Next month is a year for our channel, which I can't believe that a year has gone by this fast. That's insane. Next month, like October 11th or 12th or some shit. But anyway, thinking of a cool giveaway to do. Should hopefully be 3,000 subscribers by then. We're about 40 or 50 shy right now. So that'll be a cool milestone for us as well. Couldn't do without you guys. Always look forward to hanging out with everybody, talking shop, sharing our experiences with you guys, having people come into our homes. Haterade Cowboys next month is crazy. So not only our 1 year anniversary, but we're doing a meet and greet with Haterade Cowboys Cinema that's flying in, and he's gonna be visiting like 4 or 5 theaters. You guys are in for some cool stuff coming from his channel, that's for sure. But tonight, got my buddy Chris Chavis in the house. He also has a YouTube channel sharing all his journey and passion for the love of the hobby, like so many of us like to enjoy. So I'm going to hit up the chat real quick, and then I will bring him on, leave him sweating in the green room. So Siphonics Audio in the house. My brother, thanks for coming by. Man's got no, what? I do have notes because every day is a crazy day. So I always jot down a few notes. So at least the first 3 minutes, I have some kind of idea of what I'm doing, then fucking off the rails. Brian, party time. Yes, sir. Let's go, brother. Nicholas Vale, hey, man, watch you so many times on YouTube. This is the first time I'm chilling and see a note about you starting. Nice. Love your space. Hey, Nicholas, I certainly appreciate that, man. Thanks for hanging out. It's Friday night, man. Everybody's got a drink. Everybody's relaxed and chilling. That's what it's all about. Brian, how's it going? Man, everything is going good, man. We got the workday done. We got the Jeep cleaned up. Jeep's ready to rock and roll. Just got a few things to get settled about tomorrow. And Siphon, so I hope you get some sleep before the event. Me too. I got a busy morning tomorrow, busy night tonight, but we're going to be good, man. Everything's going to go good. Got a lot of great support for this event, so it's really blown us away for our first event. People coming through. So, all right, without further ado, I'm sure Chris is over there fondling all his new subwoofers and stuff. So let's sneak in on him and see what he's doing over there. All right, put it away, Chris. Oh,
how's it going? How's it going, guys?
So everybody, I'd like to welcome Chris Chavis in the house. I mean, Chris has been doing some big things over on his channel. If you guys haven't checked out his channel, gotta plug it. My Home Theater. He's got a lot of. This man's been getting a lot of cool toys over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm gonna be getting a little bit in.
A
little bit.
So, Chris, I'm certain that some of these people are familiar with you and some of them aren't. I mean, because you actually have two setups that we can talk about tonight.
I do have two setups.
What, obviously we all started this journey at some point. When was, and I'd like to just kind of touch on like when you man, I gotta have this or I gotta have that. I mean, when did that addiction grab you?
Well, it probably started way back in the early 90s. Probably right after I graduated high school, and then I got as I turned 20 years old, I got on my own, had my own place. So I've always been into car stereos all these years. I mean, I was some of the first people around this area to have the Rockford Fosgate, the old Punch series, the original stuff. So I've always been into car stereos, and I always thought about it. I was like, hey man, it'd be cool to have this in my home in a movie, in a home theater setting. And I didn't even know what home theater was. But I discovered what it was, and these magazines, home theater, and audio video interiors and all that stuff,
Stereo review,
and all those. I mean those were common magazines in back in that time. And when I looked at those back in the day, I mean we talking about early 90s, like 1990, 91, 92, 93. I said,
so I was like 7, but I remember my dad getting. But I remember, and that's when I was addicted to it too, even at a young age. But my dad getting an Onkyo Adobe Pro Logic,
right?
I was like, man, this is insane.
I was actually in on that. It was pretty much Walmart. My local Walmart sold Sony stereo receivers, and I bought one. Seriously, my local Walmart, and I hooked that up to my TV, and I'm like, man, I'm in heaven. And then it came with Pro Logic, came along. I don't remember the year, but Pro Logic came out, and I searched. I've had Yamaha, I've had Sony, I've had probably every name brand that you can think of. I bought a RCA projection TV. I mean, that was the thing back in the day. It wasn't even a widescreen. There was. I mean, this is like early 1990s. So you had projection TVs, but you didn't. There was no HD. There was no 1080p. It was always standard definition back in the day. And there was no right. There was no widescreen. There was no 16:9. It was all 4:3.
Yeah.
And but I've been in. I'm telling you, I've been in, which I feel like from the ground up. And through the years, just building a theater in my living room. It come along in the 90s. I actually ended up with a 40-inch Toshiba. It was still a non-digital TV, 16:9. It was a projection 16:9, and I put together I actually put together a THX system. I had Techniques THX, which was good back in the day. That was the original THX standard, so that would be like the THX Ultra. I guess they still have that standard today. And I had a Pioneer THX receiver. It was the first when they come out with the Dolby Digital. It was only a 5.1. They didn't even. They had the THX Surround EX. I mean, I'm telling you, I've been in this thing for a long time. So all this stuff is, is crazy how it came to be. I remember before the Dolby Digital came out, we had Laserdisc, and I had a Laserdisc player, and I loved it. They had the DTS Laserdisc, which was supreme to anything else. But then they came out with the first was the Dolby Digital, and then I think that which they called it AC3.
Yeah.
They had the AC3, and I can't remember the first one. It was Clear and Present Danger or either Stargate. One of the two was the first ones, and I had them both. But I really gravitated towards the DTS because back in the day, the DTS was the best thing out there. Yeah, I mean, I just built, theaters in my living room all these years. Then got into a church. They didn't believe in TVs or anything like that. So I was out for a long time. So I actually missed how they did the I'm trying to remember. It was the Dolby Digital. It was True HD before they went, but it's actually before they went to the Dolby Atmos. It was the True HD, which had I think they had the front heights or something like that.
Yeah, or like front enhance.
Right. Yeah.
Like
I totally missed all that.
And it was DTS Master Audio and then Dolby True HD at the same time. Yeah.
I totally missed all that. I come in on the front end of Atmos and DTSX, and that would have been 2017, 18, 19, somewhere around in there. I think it had been out a few years. I don't remember. I don't even remember when it came out because I was out of the game. Yeah, I was out of the game. So everything after that, and I was pretty knowledgeable of things beforehand because, man, I look for those audio video magazines and audio video interiors and home theater magazines and stereo review. I mean, I soaked it up like a sponge when I read that stuff. And when I was out for a long time, I mean, it was like what is Atmos? What is this DTSX? what is immersive sound? I had to really do my research and read and try to figure out what's what. And I still feel like I'm playing catch up. Because now you have that, and then you got all these, I mean, we basically grew up on 5.1, as I'm gonna say. Then we went to 7.1 or 7.2 when they added a second subwoofer output, and now it's up to whatever you can afford. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, Trent-off, Storm Audio is like 32 channels. Hey, if you want to have 32 speakers in your theater, you can.
Yep.
That's hard to comprehend for me. It really is. I mean, right now I'm running in my theater, I'm running a 9.4.6. Running 9 floor channels, 4 subwoofers, 6 height speakers. In my living room, I'm running 7 floor speakers, 6 subwoofers, which it's really 4, but I have dual 18s in the front, so I call that 6. Maybe I'm wrong, but I call it 6. It's still 6 drivers. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm running a 7.6.4. So the theater has come a long ways since I've been into it. It really has. I remember.
That's funny, Chris, as you were talking about that, those techniques, see, so, you were just coming out of high school and I was like 6 or 7 years old, and Stereo Review magazine came in the mail every month. My old man would get it. I would read it. And then those Technique speakers, if they're the same ones I'm thinking, they're about this wide and they're maybe about 3 feet tall. And even the subwoofers were in about the similar size.
Yes.
But we had those.
And the speakers stacked on top of the subwoofers.
Yep.
It had a was it a 8-inch driver and a 10-inch or a 10-inch sub and a 10-inch passive radiator in the subs?
Yeah,
something
and
like that.
They were in like a steel gray box.
Hey, after we get over with this, I'll have to send you. I've got pictures. I'll have to send them to you. Matter of fact, hey, I can send them to you right now, and maybe you can post them.
Man, that isn't. Damn, that's insane. But it was the same thing, man. We went through the Dolby ProLogic phase and Dolby Digital. Well, then went AC3, and then you had to buy an encoder that would plug
Right.
into your receiver and convert it over.
But that was the jewel of DTS. You didn't have to have anything. All you had to do was have a digital input. And DTS, I wish I still had those DTS Laserdiscs. I had Titanic in DTS, and that's still the only way you can get Titanic in DTS was on Laserdisc.
I remember Terminator 2 Judgment Day coming out on Laserdisc.
Yes, and I had Jurassic Park, and it's still the best Laserdisc. It's something about these older movies are on Laserdisc or even on DVD are better than what we get today. Now, I was at my buddy's house. You know, we talked behind the scenes. He's in Columbia. He's got a pretty cool setup. He's got B&W speakers, JTR and Phi. He's got Phi 18s. He built a box. He's hitting 149 decibels at the port on a box that he built with two Phi 18s, which is insane. He built that. It's like a fifth order enclosure or something. I don't know. He does some pretty wild stuff. But we were looking at what's that movie? It's got a Russell Crowe, the one where he's the ship captain, Master and Commander.
Oh yeah.
We demoed that on DVD in his theater, and I was blown away. The ship, you know, in the beginning where he's looking at, he's like, oh, you know, they shoot the cannonballs at him. It was crazy. So the next time I went to his theater, I carried my Blu-ray version. It didn't even sound good. There was no comparison.
They did that with the intro to Live Die Repeat.
Right.
You know,
the Blu-ray better.
They neutered that out.
Yep.
But you know, for years on AVS forum, everybody's like, "You're going to blow your subs if you play this movie at reference." And you know, they took all that. It's you know, they re-release the same movie sometimes 3, 4, 5, 10 different times, and it's all a different audio cut.
Yep.
Every time.
I don't think they do as good. I think they screw up a lot of times. And a lot of these DVDs are even better, you know, than originals, I think. Okay, I'm sending you. You should have them here in a second. I don't know if you can.
Yeah, I don't. I'll look at them, but I don't know how to break. Man, I'm stupid when it comes to this computer.
Hey, me too. Me too. But you can look at them and tell me if you think they're saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at them for sure because man, I remember my dad bought them from a store called K's Merchandise back in the day. Man.
I bought these from the Panasonic outlet at Tanger Outlet in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Seriously, man, it was crazy.
Oh, they didn't come over yet. But I try to keep up on the comments, guys. Sorry, I get involved talking to people and I start missing everything.
I don't even see the comment. Oh, I do now. Okay. I had to click a button over here.
Brian says, I had a Toshiba Hi-Fi VHS back in the early 90s. Used to give me demos, Top Gun opening scene. Man, that was the thing because you had a 2-head VCR or a 4-head, and then you get a 4-head that had stereo output.
Yep.
And then you were King Kong if you had all that.
Hey, right now I've got a people said I was crazy. I bought a JVC Super VHS VCR, and it's hooked up in my theater right now. My dedicated theater.
Yeah. Hey. Jeff Robinson says he remembers when we had 6.1 soundtrack.
6.1. That's right. Yeah. That was the DTS ES extended surround. Yeah. Oh, yes, sir. Circuit City. Okay, let me tell you a story about Circuit City since Jeff brought that up. And I chased that rabbit, and I still have not found it. So, me and my son, he was like probably a year old at the time, so I was toting him in the store on my hip, and we walked in the store, and I'm like, what is that sound? So I'm looking, I'm like, what is that? I'm running through the store and I'm looking around. So I go to the home theater section. Circuit City had the glass doors.
Oh yeah.
So I walked up there and I'm like, what in the world? So I opened the doors and oh my God. So I walked in and they were playing Jurassic Park on Laserdisc. I cannot remember the speakers or the subs, but back then, I know they pushed Onkyo real heavy. They
Validine.
pushed what would you say?
Validine subs.
Validine, yes. And they pushed I want to say I know they pushed Infinity a whole lot.
And DCM too.
Right. So I don't remember. All I know is I walked in there and they had the Kenwood KM1 processor.
Was that the processor and the amp that looked identical?
And the KMC1. And I'm telling you, I was probably 10 foot, 5 foot, 10 foot from the speakers. My pants legs were shaking. I'm like, when the T-Rex, the scene of the T-Rex, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I've never heard anything like this in my life. And I'm telling you that I chased that for years. I bought that processor. I had 2 of those KMC1 6-channel THX 100. It was only 100 watts by 6. I had 2 of those.
That processor had that big fancy remote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it was it. No, it really wasn't fancy. It was just a ProLogic THX. You had to have the amp. It had no power. It was just a processor.
Yeah.
And but I hooked that up. I'm telling you, when I had my THX speakers, those Panasonic, the Techniques, and I hooked everything up in there, and I was like, I played that scene. I'm like, okay, I didn't get what I got it. I didn't get what I get at Circuit City. Now I was like, what's going on here? I don't know what they had. I wish I could. I was just so blown away. I didn't look at the equipment. I just know the processor and the amp. I didn't look at the speakers or the subs, and that was probably the biggest standout. But Circuit City, I was always partial to Circuit City. Circuit City was more like a mom and pop's store versus what Best Buy was. Best Buy was your mainstream media deal. I mean, Circuit City had a lot of the high-end stuff that nobody else really had. And I hated they went bankrupt.
Yeah, I have a similar story about Circuit City too. I remember going in there with my dad, and I just heard all this bass coming from. I was like, man, I got to find out. And I was little, like 8 years old. And I was like, where's all that bass coming from? And they had like a 15-inch Validine sub, man. They were just demoing for somebody else. I was like, man, that's so cool. And back then it was like, man, that thing is $600. That's insane. Or $700.
Yeah. Now, I actually, I had the Techniques set up, which had the dual subs that basically was towers. But I actually had a Velodyne, and I'm trying to remember if it was a 10-inch or a 12-inch. A Velodyne back then made good subwoofers. They really did. And I don't even are they in business anymore? I don't even think they are.
From my understanding, because I had a big Validine, and that was actually what gave me my taste of low bass around 10 hertz. We're probably talking now about 9 or 10 years ago. I bought a DD18, which was like $6,000 back then, but there was the only sub out there that would do 10 hertz.
Wow.
And it wouldn't do it very loud, but they would at least doing it. And I kept it, and I ended up selling it. But I know they went out of business, and then somebody just bought the name and was really pushing product, but it wasn't the same quality. Now, supposedly, somebody that's really big in subwoofers and that again is taking the name back over, and they're supposed to be putting quality product back out.
Wow.
Which there's a lot of good quality products out now for subwoofers, but
yes, they are.
I mean, competition it's only good for the consumer,
right?
So
there is a lot of competition out there in subs. I think the sub arena has more competition than anything else out there. I'm as far as processors, speakers, or anything. There's a lot of competition for subs. There really is.
Fred 215 said, "What's up? Hey man, thanks for joining us, Fred. I haven't We haven't chatted in a while. Thanks for popping in on a Friday night, hanging out with us. We're just on here chatting with you guys for an hour or so. But yeah, I feel the same way about and what I think it is because a lot of people can find speakers that they like or that play loud enough. I think just a lot of people, just another rabbit they're chasing. You get a taste of good bass, you want more. Then you get a taste of deep bass, and you want more. And you just,
Yeah.
well, because I mean, for the people that don't, first of all, so we'll talk about your theater, is a lot of subwoofer changes going on in that space.
Yeah.
Because I just seen you change out some scars for some stereo integrities, and
Yeah,
now
I have been chasing perfection, really. I'm not trying to get to your level. I mean, you are on a level there. Nobody's on your level. I'm not chasing that, but I wanted something that I could feel, and I felt two kind of feels. I feel it, and then I felt that it was what I wanted. And when I got these Deep Sea Sound Mariana 24s in, I'm like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I've been searching for. So I'm not really searching for subs anymore, but I do want two more of those. I mean, of course, I want two more of them. And I mean, as far as that, I'm not searching anything else. Now, yes, I did replace the scars because I had I built the Parts Express box. There were 4 cubic feet sealed, and I put the scars in there. The scars were a cheap speaker, but they did their job when I had to chase subs in there, and they half-ass kept up with the Mariana 18s. Now I'm not downplaying the Mariana 18s. The Mariana 18s are crazy insane, and I would honestly, if I had 4 of those in there, I'd be happy. But I'm looking for more than happy. I'm looking for insanity. You know what I'm saying? So the
I support
24,
that decision.
right? The 24s are insanity. Now the Mariana 18s are. I mean, if you're looking for something that is going to rattle your feelings loose, the Mariana 18s is going to do that, because honestly, the Mariana 18s, you're not going to find a 18-inch sub single. Now I'm going with single. You're not going to find a more powerful sealed enclosure out there. It's a sealed enclosure. It has a smaller footprint, and it's got a 4,000 watt speaker power amp. And that thing is pure insanity. It really is. And for the price, I mean, it's amazing. But I was looking beyond that. So I wanted the 24s, and I got the 24s. Now I'm looking for 2 more 24s. I want to have the 4 24s.
So when you brought the 18s in, were you thinking like, oh, I'm going to go this route? But then when you got them, you thought, well, let's just go all the way.
Well, when they reached out to me, I had no idea who Deep Sea Sound was, to be honest with you. I didn't know. But when actually Jeff is actually who reached out to me, he reached out to me. He said, "Hey man, we think you might be something that we want to, you might be our guy, whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, well, let me see who you are." So when I pulled them up, I could not hit the reply send. Yes, please. I'm like, oh my God, this is a subwoofer company. And look at these subwoofer. I could not reply fast enough. So when I got the 18s in, I said, oh, this is crazy. But I always knew I wanted, because I seen they had 24s.
Yeah.
So I said, these are insane, and I would be perfectly happy. I was like, well, I want to try the 24s out. So David told me, he said, you think you're happy with them 18s? We get them 24s in. So, and when we hooked them up, I was like, yeah, I'm sold. Yeah, these are mine. These are mine. Yeah, the bigger subs, they move so much air with so little effort. That's the, I guess that's the advantage to having a big sub, is it don't take a whole lot of effort to move the air because it's a bigger driver. So they always said 124 is equivalent to 218s. That's what I've researched, I've read. So 124 is equivalent to 218s. So David makes a dual 18, which I think is pretty cool. And I would love to get a couple of them in just to review. I mean, I know where I'm going. I'm going with the 24s, but I would like to, just for, the audience, aspect of it, I would like to review his dual 18s, and they have the speaker power, 4,000 watt. It's basically the same as the JTR, except this cabinet is a sealed cabinet and it's a smaller footprint than what the JTR is. Now, I don't know how big your now you have the 6,000. You got the bigger speaker power amp, but I don't know about your cabinets. I know my buddy in Columbia, his cabinet is like 4 foot deep. He's got it's huge. I know, and I know it varies from what.
Yeah, with all the Captivator, like any of the dual 18-inch model from JTR, they all are identical for the internal volume. They're just different shapes. Right. But they're still the same weight, same exact performance, and they're just, some are shorter and fatter, some are longer and deeper. Right. It's just whatever helps fit the room better. But no, the actual internal volume is identical.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
So then obviously they offer the sealed version too. I went with the Porta just because more 10 hertz output. And I like feeling all the wind. There's a lot of wind in this room.
I guarantee you, with 1818s and 9 cap, there's probably a lot of wind in there. I mean, that's pretty cool, man.
So I because I try to follow all my peers and friends. We're all buddies in this space. Yeah. But I seen a video or a picture, possibly you were sharing something that you pulled those SCAR drivers out, but you did put new subs in the back, right?
Yes, I did the 8 stereo integrity HT18s, and I said all this and then I forgot. The SCARs held up pretty good they held up real good with the Chase 18s. The Chase 18s they're old, of course. It's an 8 ohm enclosure, so I'm assuming it's 2 16 ohm subs, wired to 8 ohms. So they're old. So they held up pretty good with that. With the Mariana 18s, they struggled a bit, but they still, kind of held their own. I was putting about 900 watts on them per channel. But when I put them 24s on there and I got everything calibrated, they were pretty much bottoming out. They couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
And so instead of blowing them, which if I would have, I could hear them, you hear them flubbing and bottoming out. So I was like,
yeah, they're letting you know.
Yeah, they're letting me know. That's like, hey, it's
over, man.
You got them 24s up there. We ain't G hauling with them.
We're out of here.
Right. So, I couldn't afford the HST 18s carbon fibers, of course. Those speakers are...
Well, there's really no point in it if down the road you're going to go...
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So, I bought the HT 18s, the version 3, and I ordered them that morning. They shipped them that afternoon. I had them the same day. The next day. I'm about 2.5 hours from stereo integrity. And this is what's crazy. I'm 2.5 hours from stereo integrity. They're in Newton, North Carolina. I'm in South Carolina. And they're right next to Hickory, which is like 3 hours. So I'm about 2 hours, a few minutes. And Jeff at JTR, I'm about 2.5 hours from him. Why ain't I went up there and visited him and shot some videos? Come on now. I need to do that. But
Yeah, I hung out with Nick at M-Wave, and I checked out the 24s and his speakers, and I hung out with them for a while. Because I talk to everybody in the hobby.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm just an enthusiast, man. You can't
Yeah.
get enough knowledge or enough experiences.
Right.
I go crazy over this shit.
So my son's cat was out and about. I don't know if you saw I don't remember if it was the last video or the video before.
Well, I just watched the video of your new sound panels. I watched most of that video, but I didn't see nothing about a cat in that.
Okay, one. So that might have been my last video, or whatever. Yeah, it had to be my last video. So I replaced the amp in my living room theater with another monoprice 2100 amp. And it's just a random video, so I didn't just focus on that. So I covered a lot of stuff. And my son's cat, which haven't bothered those subs in probably the 3-4 months that they've been out since I got the Marion 18s. I brought them in the living room. And then I got up one morning and there was the surround on the little surround that goes around the sub was laying on the floor. I'm looking at that. I'm like, where'd that come from? Why'd that fall off? So I glued it back on. Then I think the next day or the day after that, there was another one on the floor. And then I got to looking and there was claw marks in the surround on the speaker and on the driver. I'm like, oh my God, are you serious? And the cat was already trying to get my couch that I moved out of the theater. So I had to keep it encapsulated in blankets and stuff. So that cat has since been, locked up in a bedroom, which is fine. She's fine with that until she gets declawed. So I have since, because of all that has happened, I've ordered 4 more Stereo Integrity HT18s. But that was on September 11th, and I haven't heard anything, so I ain't quite figured out what's going on. I've emailed them and called them and so forth and so on, and so I don't know. Maybe they're behind times. I know the first 2 I ordered, I got them next day. These are, it's over a week and a half later. I ain't got them yet. I'm sure I'll get them. I know I'll get them, but
you just drive over and pick them up.
Hey,
yeah,
hey. $800 later, I might just do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I ain't made of money. I ain't got a whole lot of money, but yeah, I might do that. But no, I know that them guys are good, man. They got a lot going on, man.
Nicholas Val got in the car audio in late 90s to 2000s. Hey man, JL12. I mean, yeah, man, that was the WOs, the W3s, the W6s back then in the day. I remember all that.
W6s, that's JL Audios. That was the top of the line back then.
Jeff Robinson 424s ought to do that for you.
Oh, I'm sure to do that. I guarantee you to do that.
Siphonics Audio. I don't know if you've seen about those new 28-inch subs Ascendo came out with.
I saw something on that. I mean, golly, that's crazy. These guys are coming out with these big subs, the 28-inch, 50-inch, 80-inch. I mean, that's
I experienced a 50-inch at Ryan's house at
right. Yeah.
But very niche market, very expensive. Hey, I don't like talking money in this hobby because $1 to me might be a nickel to the next guy, it might be 100.
Yeah.
We all just kind of do what we do with our budget. Yeah. So. Yeah, hey man, if you got a couple $100,000 to blow in your theater, can I just come in? Can I just come for a demo?
Hey, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Coley, what's up, man? Thanks for stopping by, buddy, man. And then Jeff said, come on down to Knoxville. We'll give you a tour of the facility.
Yeah, I am way overdue. I've been to Knoxville. I can't tell you how many times. Back when I was
you grabbed your speakers while you're there.
Yeah. Hey, back when I was married, man, my vacation was around Pigeon Forge, Sevierville, Gatlinburg. I've been to Knoxville. I've been to Nashville. I've been to all that area down there. And I definitely want to come and check them out. I do. I mentioned that in one of my videos. I've got to get that way, man. I've got to tell my work to kiss my behind so I can do something.
Hey, you were just telling me, man, you got some vacation days. I
got 5 days that I haven't done anything weird that I got to figure out what I'm gonna do. When I'm not making some money, some dollar bills.
Hey, you got to support this hobby somehow, right?
Hey, oh my God, it's definitely something. And I couldn't enjoy it when I was married, and I'm not throwing off on being married. And, you know, every marriage is different, and I just I can enjoy things better now. And
well, that was a big thing for me. Like, you know, when I met Kat, she come into my house, it was floor to ceiling subwoofers and all that shit. I was like, you know, this ain't never gonna change. So like, if you're not cool with that, you know, now's the time to have this conversation. So
yep.
you know, and she you know, she's a good sport about it. But I get what you're saying, because I've had, you know, and that's sad in this hobby, because I mean, life is so short for everybody to not enjoy themselves. But you know, we've hosted a lot of people here, and you know, you get to have a beer with a couple of these guys, and you sit around and you talk, and you know, I can't tell you how many times guys are like, you know, I want to do this or that. My wife has no problem going on vacation with her sisters or buying a new Coach bag, but as soon as I talk about getting something, it gets shot down. I'm like, man,
that's not right.
I don't tell them that sucks, because I don't want to make them feel any worse than they already do. But I just think in my head, like, man, we ain't going to be around much longer. You know, right. 20, 30 years goes by really fast.
That's right.
That's
and whatever you're going to do, you need to do it now. I mean, you can't wait till you're 80 years old to decide, well, I'm gonna put 624s in my room or something. You can't do that, man. And I mean, I get it. You got to the person that you're living with, you got to come to some kind of compromise.
Yeah.
But in my standpoint, I never had a compromise. It was I did what they said, and that's not right. That's not right. No, if you're with somebody and they love you and they see that you are happy doing what you need to do, then I feel like it's a 50-50 deal.
Yeah. If I'm holding my end of the bargain and doing, you know, if I'm paying the mortgage or doing whatever I got to do, and
see that was my deal. I mean, I was the breadwinner. My ex didn't work. I mean, all she had to do was homeschool the kids. And I mean, I probably need to stop. But I'm just saying, man. I mean, I worked my finger to the bones. It's like I'm doing right now. And I did everything I did for my family. And so I could have a little bit of something that I enjoy doing. I've been into a bunch of hobbies. I absolutely love RC model planes. I flew model planes. My uncle taught me how to fly at the beginning, and it wasn't long. He told me, he said, "You have definitely learned how to outdo the person teaching." I was like, and he said, "You need to go professional." I'm like, okay. I mean, I just pick up on stuff fast. I loved model airplanes. I was into Oakley glasses, which I've always liked Oakley glasses. I was on the Oakley forum. I had custom glasses. I did a lot of stuff on there. I had BMX bicycles. I mean, I always had a hobby. I got to have a hobby. Men have to have a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Men have to have a hobby. And what better hobby than any that I just forementioned than home theater? Because that hobby isn't just for me or for you, Scott. It's for everybody else, your family, friends, and everybody else that comes over. And that's how I perceive this. So why wouldn't a spouse or whatever support that? I makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
makes no sense to me.
I support whatever she wants to do.
Yeah.
She's certainly more supportive now. At the beginning, she just didn't understand it.
Right.
She's like, "You got other boys coming to the house to watch a movie with you?" She's like, there's somebody flying in to listen to your radio. Like, but then she really got involved with some of these people, and like, and we started, she came with me to other people's events, and she's like, man, you guys are just like a big fam. Like, this is a big family, really, is what it is.
And it's people that you don't really know, but when you get there, it's like you've known each other forever because you identify with the hobby. And that's what, Scott, I don't know you. I really don't know you. I just know you online. But brother, me and you sitting here talking, man, I feel like I've known you for freaking ever, man.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's what this hobby does. It brings us together.
Oh man, look at my shirt. I'm wearing my shirt.
I know, man. Hey, where's mine? Where's mine?
Hey, your sweatshirt's on its way. Well, no, it's getting shipped off tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, if I'd have had it not, I'd have had it on. I'd been burning up in here, but I'd have had it on.
Yeah, you were the big winner, man.
And I don't win nothing. I look, I had people texting me, messaging me. He said, man, congratulations. I'm like, what are you talking about? Congratulations on winning that. I'm like, okay. And I went back and watched the video. I'm like, well, I'll be dog. I won something.
Coley says, anytime, bud. I've been following for a minute. Had to check him out. Oh, that's cool, man. Kat's in on the chat. She said, that's all. We just talk so much shit, Kat. I don't know what which part of that's all you're talking about. Jeff says, amen, brother. Oh, and then here's Jeff too talking about that's what made Emily so special. And it was because, like, so when I met David, from Deep Sea Sound, it was I met him at 1:00 in the morning at an after party, home theater after party. I was hanging out with the JTR crew, and we went to somebody's house, and then the Deep Sea Crew Sound showed up, and we were at Jonathan Von Engel's house at like midnight or 1 getting demos from him, and yeah, everybody, man, it didn't matter what brand you were representing, what you had, nobody gave a shit. Everybody was just happy to be there.
Yep. And that's what it's all about. That is what it's all about, man. And Scott, your shirt says it all, man. And it's true, man. Bass brings us together. I mean, they ain't a red-blooded American. You can say redneck, blue-collar worker, whatever. You hear that bass, and your ears perk up, man.
Yep.
Seriously, man. It's. I mean, brother, you ought to sell 10 million of them shirts because it identifies with me, and I think a whole lot of other people. I agree with it, man.
Oh, hey, man. It was funny as I've been using that term for a long time, then we just kind of went public with it. Then I seen other people trying to use it. So that's why, we ended up having to turn it into an LLC. It cost me $1,000 to trademark and take the name.
There you go.
I say, we host a lot of home get-togethers, and now we're getting into car world. If it churns into something in a couple of years to where we're hosting huge events, I don't want to not. If somebody else was a trademark it, I'd be screwed.
Right. Now, my ex-wife trademarked something, and it never really amounted to anything. But yeah, if you trademark something like that, man, you good to go, man. And but with home theater and now car stereos, brother, that's a big medium right there. It really is, man. And I've been thinking so much about putting some kind of subs in my BMW. I've been thinking, the BMWs, mine's it's an older car. It's like a 2007 5 Series, but it has the theater surround in it. It's got the center channel and the door speakers and the rear speakers and the door speakers and the rear. And then it's got subs under the seat. But I'm like, it's got plenty of highs and mids. I got to have some bass in there, man. So I'm trying to figure out if I can put 18s or 15s in there.
Well, we put 115 in the back of the Cat's Jeep, and it does, man. It's more than enough for her. And she's kind of a bass head too. But yeah, man, we'll be showing it at the show tomorrow. But it shakes the shit out of that Jeep.
I even thought about putting like 121 in there, a 21-inch sub or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I want to do something. Hey, look, whatever we do is more content for our channel. Hey. And that's what I look at, man.
No doubt. And I just take it to the show tomorrow, and people get to check it out, and and other people get to enjoy it or give them an idea.
Yep.
And we just keep passing it along.
Yep.
Oh, Kat says homeschooling. She wouldn't want that job. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be a very good homeschool teacher either.
I know we had 3 kids. We had 2 boys and a girl, and the 2 boys are, they're much older and out now. I've actually got a grandbaby, a girl. She's over 2 months old, fixing to be 3 months old for my oldest son, and then my youngest son, which is the middle child. He's 21 and he's actually second shift. He works with me, but on second shift, I work first. And then my daughter is here with me. She's come in the room and waved at me a couple times since I've been on here. She's 15, fixing to be 16 in March. So so I get all that, man. I really
we
do.
got a
Homeschool.
15 and 7. So
yeah, homeschooling is tough. I worked. My ex didn't. All she really had to do was homeschool. And I will.
If I homeschooled our kids, they'd be dumb as shit. they would know how to build stuff. And
there you go. Cool. They know how to build stuff and make subs. And all
that.
But
they know how to calibrate a stereo.
Hey, I can't even do that, really, to be honest with you. But my daughter, she after let's see, after we separated and filed for divorce or whatever, so she went into school. That would have been in let's see, she's in 10th, 9th, 8th. She really went to public school for the first time in 8th grade, and the 9th grade was questionable. I won't talk about that, but this year she's in the 10th grade, and she is actually all A's, which I am ecstatic about that. She's all A's, and I told her, I said, sweetheart, you finish out this year and your daddy gonna buy you an Xbox, Xbox X1, whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, really? She likes Roblox and Minecraft.
Oh
yeah. So I was like, baby, you do that, I got you. Your daddy's got you. She's my only girl. She's got me wrapped. She's had me wrapped since before she was born.
I live with all girls, so that just means I'm gonna be mowing the grass till the fucking day I die. That's exactly what that means.
Hey, I just wish I could mow my grass right now. My lawnmower laid down on me, and I have done everything in this world to get it back running. I've been having to pay somebody to cut my grass, and I don't like that. Yeah. I don't have a big yard here. Now, in my previous house, I had 32 acres. Oh. I think I cut about 15 or 16 acres. Took me about 3 hours to cut. I didn't mind. I loved it. But
Coley said he's been following you for at least a year. That's cool.
Yeah, we've been friends on Facebook and stuff. Yeah, man, he's a cool guy, man. He does a lot of welding and stuff. I've been looking at his. I think he teaches welding and stuff. Yeah, man.
I'm gonna get Coley out. I'm gonna get Coley out here.
Yeah. He seemed like he's really cool, man. I wish I could get a lot of people here. Hey, listen, I've said this on my channel, and I'm gonna say this on Scott's channel. Listen, if y'all are anywhere near South Carolina, hit me up. I want y'all to come check out my theater too. Now, I ain't got nothing like what Scott's got, of course. Now, he's top of the line. I'm probably like close to the bottom. I'm probably close to the bottom, but I do like. I enjoy.
It's all about the company, man.
That's man. What it is. Listen. I've had one of my friends from is Monty K. He may even follow you too, Scott. He's Monty K. He's from Texas. His brother lives in Farquay-Varina, North Carolina, which is about 2 hours or so from me. He came here, so I've had him and his brother and another friend here, and I was honored to have him here, and they enjoyed it, and I enjoyed them. I had another guy from Florida. His name was Scott. I think he said he been to, I can't remember if he's been to Michael's, maybe he has. Anyway, I had him and his mom here. They go to Tennessee on vacation, so they prearranged to I'm sorry. So they prearranged to come by here. That was last year. They came by, and I was honored to have him. And Scott's a big old dude, man. That dude's like, I mean, I'm like 5'6". He's like 6'5". I mean, so he's like a foot. He's like a foot over me. He's a big dude, man. But he's got
I'm 6'4".
You 6'4". Oh, you would tower over me, brother. I'm a little dude, man. But I mean, Scott's got a killer theater. He's got a Trent-off and stuff like that. I think he's got 424s or something. He's got a killer theater, man. There's people that's got, and this is what gets me. So Scott, you're on Facebook like I am. You see what these people post, and I'm like, why these people on YouTube? Yeah. I mean, they got theaters to make my shit look like a sound bar. I mean, seriously,
I've been to some high end theaters, and it's pretty much. See, what's strange is I've been in like some really, really high end theaters that people don't even want to really know other people to know that they have. Yes. Or they don't care enough to entertain the community because they got 50 other hobbies that they get into.
Right.
But I mean, I've been in, like, I just got invited to go up to the theater in Michigan. The guy invited me and Kat up. He just dropped like $200,000 just on his projector.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
And I'm like, that's about what we paid for our house 7 years ago.
That's insane. Yeah. That's insane that people can do that. But it's awesome that people can do that because, like you said, man. Look, everybody's got $1. Everybody has $1, and it's spent in a different way. I mean, what people spend. I mean, I can't spend. You can't spend. Yeah. I mean, $200,000. I mean, okay, so I bought my house, I bought my theater, I bought my car, I bought everything for $200,000. I mean, seriously. I mean, so hey, that's cool. So I mean, God, what is that theater gonna look like? Yeah, if he just spent $200,000 on
that the projector I think was like 140 or 150. Then he had to build a cooling tower, have a bunch of electric ran for it. Wow. And I was like, yeah, man, dude, when you get the room done, let me, because I don't know, I've never been really super jealous. I've always just been like, I want to check out that ultra cool kit that I'll never have.
Yeah,
but I still want to experience it.
Yeah,
you know.
I haven't experienced many theaters. Now I talked about my one friend in Columbia, but I've got another friend in Columbia, and you probably know him. His name is Frankie Kenneth. Oh my God, listen to me. That dude, I've been wanting to do a theater tour in his theater. His theater is mind blowing. His theater's mind blowing. We have similar equipment, but he has Triad gold on the front, Triad silver everywhere else, and he's got a Anthem AVM 70. He's got the same Monolith 7X. I think he actually has two of them, which I'm striving to get, but I can't. I've got the the Monolith 7X, and then I got the Outlaw 7000X on my Heights. But I mean, his theater is crazy. He's got 221s and 118. He's got 221s in the front and 118 behind the seats. He's got Crosons. His theater is crazy. Well, we played what was that? I can never remember the name of this movie. It's it's like the zombies in World War II in Germany. What's the name of that movie? Oh my God. It's hard for me to remember. I can never remember the name of it. Anyway, he played that movie. and my equilibrium got off. It was crazy. I don't know what it was, man, but I mean, I've never been in a theater that was, and I mean, I've been in a few. I mean, mine and a couple of friends and stuff like that. But his theater was so immersive. His surround speakers are, like I said, they're triads. I don't remember with the model, but they have a laser. You hook a battery up to it and you line it to your listening position.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy. And I was like, I'm everything we demoed, I'm looking up. I'm like, I can't believe this. I can't believe. And I promote his theater because it's so freaking good, man. It is so freaking good. I mean, I like stuff like that, and I want to experience more theaters, but in this area that I'm in, there's not many.
Man, when you plan to come out this way, I'll take you to like 4, 5, 6 of them.
Absolutely. I mean, I've got to get up your way, and I say that I've talked about your theater on several videos of mine, and I keep saying I got to get up your way. I got to get up your way. I got to figure out somehow to get up your way.
Fred says put some 24s on the BMX bike.
I saw that.
Yeah, he loves the southern accent.
Somebody loved the southern accent.
Yeah, that was bad.
Yeah, somebody likes I get that sometimes, but I don't have near the southern accent as like my ex-wife or even my daughter. But my son, he Overlord, that's it. I see him talking about the Overlord. That's it. That movie. Oh my God.
Especially that opening scene.
The opening scene that's what it is. Insane. Overlord. Yes. The southern accent. I do get that. Some people say, man, I love your accent. Some people say, oh man, I couldn't even stomach it. Okay. Okay. Hey, this is how I talk, man. I can't help it.
Oh, Jeff said he'll come when David delivers those other 24s to experience your room.
I want Jeff to come, man. I want to hear. Hey, Jeff, I did watch the video from last night. Your brother's room looks freaking awesome, man. I like his carpet too. I know that was a big deal on that carpet. I like the carpet.
Oh, you know what, Jeff? I was wrong because that's who invited Kat and me to come up. So it was $350,000 for that projector installed.
Woo,
yeah, okay. Yeah, because I'm buddies with Mark Seaton, and I believe Mark was doing the install or some of the calibration up there too. Because I was talking to Mark about that. It's funny that when you come into my room, you got to sign an insurance waiver for loud music. For SPL. When you go into Art's room, you got to sign a waiver for blindness, that if you look at that projector, you're going to go blind.
Really?
Yeah. You got to sign a projector that,
what kind of projector is it?
It's one of those big Christie projectors.
Christie, Barco or something like that?
Yeah. It's one of those huge
Wow.
Yeah. And it's.
Yeah. I've been looking at, now I knew Barco from Audio Advice, and I saw the Barco, and oh my God, the Barco is amazing. But I've been seeing online Christie, and I've been looking at the prices and what it can do. I mean, it's pretty amazing, man.
Jeff says he hates that carpet.
I know he does. I saw the video. I know they were talking about that. Man, I don't think it don't look that bad. I mean, I wouldn't have bought it, but I mean, my carpet in my room looks like crap.
As we build our rooms and we go through this hobby, none of us are ever done, but I'm done for this year just because we have a lot of get-togethers coming up, and I haven't been able to enjoy the space for a while because I've been making a lot of changes, doing a lot of stuff. But next year, when I redo the ceiling to do a Baltic birch ceiling in here, we're changing the carpet. I got to go darker. It helps with the contrast of the projector. I velveted all around the screen, and and I just made a velvet pad to go over the subs. And if you're building a dedicated theater, Go as dark as you can on the carpet because
Yep.
I got gray. Should have went black.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now I went gray, but it was like white gray. I mean, it was like more white, a hint of gray. But I mean, when I went to when I checked anywhere for carpet when I was building a theater, they wanted just $1,000 or more for the carpet.
Yeah.
That wasn't in my budget at the time, because I had just bought the house. I hadn't been in here a month, and I started building a theater. I bought this house August the 5th. So Labor Day, which is around September 4th or 5th, is I started on my theater. So of course I couldn't spend $1,000, $2,000 on carpet. And I went to Lowe's, and they wanted $1,000 just for plain black carpet. And I'm like, no. So I went to Ollie's and found this carpet, and I like the texture of it. If you look back some of my old pictures or videos, the texture is beautiful. And it was gray, but it was like a white gray, not even a light gray, a white gray. I mean, it's really light. And I put it down myself, and it's not perfect. But when I do the front, redo the front and lower everything down, the speakers and the subs, put everything on the floor, I'm gonna redo my front stage and then take my equipment out and put it in the garage and build this room and have its own climate control. Then I'm gonna redo my carpet, and I'm gonna pay somebody to do it, because I mean, I don't mind doing it myself, but the step up, I wasn't real good on that. It really, it's not bad, but if you look at it, I don't like the way it looks. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pay somebody to do it. But I don't know what kind of carpet I want. Do I want something with designs? If you put something with designs down, I think I'm feeling like it's going to magnify the reflections or something like that. And ever since Frankie, hey, listen, Frankie's the one that sent me off the deep end. Okay. So he come over, he's like, he had already been over here one time, I think. He come over, I think he had already been over here one day. Maybe that was the first time. I can't remember. Maybe that was the first time he came. So we come over, he's like, man, I love everything about your room. He said, but them reflections will bother me. I was like, okay. I said, brother, I got velvet. I've had velvet for a year and I ain't put it in. So that was the first time. I said, I've had velvet for a year and I ain't put it up yet. So the next day I started putting the velvet up. But then a friend of mine from Instagram, John, I hate massacring a last name or a name, Vol or whatever. Anyway, he said, hey, you need to do this, because I was like stapling it to the wall. I didn't know what I was doing, man. I was just trying to do something, and it looked like crap. He's like, man, you need to use these fabric tracks. What's fabric tracks? So I got to researching it, and I got the fabric tracks, and I'm like, man, this is pretty freaking awesome. So the fabric tracks with the velvet, which I'm gonna take the velvet down, because I got, I got one side looks nice and black, and the other side looks nice and gray. So one side is the piles are running one direction, and the other side the piles are running the other direction. Oh my God. I was like, I can't believe I did that. I was like, why does it look different? And it took me a minute to figure out why. And then, people has commented and said, hey, you got anything running the wrong way? I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I said, but I'm going to change it, because I do like the black DMD fabric that I have over the rest of the room. So I want it all to be the same. And I'm gonna do the sides and the front up front, and the bottom, of course, when I lower everything, it'll be a false wall that I stick up there, because there won't be nothing mounted. It'll be like stuck up there somehow. I don't know how, but there's a lot coming to the theater when I ever get around to it, when I'm not working 90 hours a week.
So, And for everybody that's been hanging out this whole time, we certainly appreciate it. We're just, we're getting well over an hour here now. So, for you guys to take time out of your Friday night to hang out with us, that certainly means a lot to both Chris and I. But before we wrap this up, Chris, you got an important date coming up. I haven't heard any details on it, but you're getting a full calibration in your room, right?
Well, I've had Brandon has done a calibration.
Oh, he's done one already?
Yeah, he done it right after, let's see, when was it? A couple days after I got the 24s in.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
but then I replaced the scars with the stereo integrities, and since then I've put the in-ceiling, stuff in.
oh yeah, the room treatments.
Right, the room treatment. So he told me, he said, sub speakers, room treatment, you got to have calibration over.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah, there's another one coming, and I bought a mini DSP that come in today for my living room, because I have the 4 subs. Of course, it's the 6, it's the dual 18s in the front, the 2 in the back. So they're all acting as one. It's a living room, but still.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to have all that, you want to get the best performance out of it.
Exactly. So I bought a mini DSP. It come in today. I ain't hooked it up. I ain't had time. I've got everything to do it. And he told me, he said, before we do next calibration, you need to buy a laptop. I'm like, this is my son's laptop. Well, my son told me today, I was like, Brandon told me I needed another laptop. What's wrong with your laptop? He's like, Dad, I bought this just to tune my Mustang. He said, you've been using it. I was like, well, what's wrong with it? He's like, it's like 80-something% full. I'm like, oh. So it's like the hard drive is like full.
Yeah.
He's like, all this stuff you've been downloading. I said, I ain't been downloading up for the theater. So yeah, he's gonna run. He actually messaged me today. He said, all right, because in the living room, I've got a Pioneer VSX LX 504, and I've had that receiver for, oh my God, for at least 4 years, 5 years, whenever it first come out. And back then that was a big deal. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's 11.2, powered 9.2, but you had to add the amp, of course. It had the IMAX enhanced. I mean, it had everything. And I've had that forever. But I'm looking at getting the Pioneer Elite 805, which has the Dirac. The newer ones has the Dirac. This one has the MCCCA calibration or whatever. So he asked me today, he said, are you just want to wait the calibration until you get your new receiver? I'm like, yeah. Yeah. I said, because I've got height speakers in the living room. I got front heights, rear heights. I've got in-ceiling speakers, but it's just been too hot here to put them in. So I told him, I said, look, I want to put the in-ceiling speakers in, and I want to be able to purchase the new receiver. And listen, if any of your followers or people's watching, I've got a Emotiva XMC2 16 channel processor with all the new updates and everything, everything for sale. I've got a Pioneer Elite, a VSX LX 504 receiver for sale. If anybody wants it, hit me up, hit Scholar. He hit somebody up. I mean, I got a bunch of stuff for sale. But I mean, this stuff, I'm using the Pioneer, but the XMC2 has been sitting idle for a year now. I mean, it's been sitting there for a year now.
Were you using it in the theater?
I had it in the theater, and I only used it for about 11 months before I got the Anthem. Yeah.
No, you got the 70?
No, the 90.
Oh, okay. I got the 70. Oh, so you went big boy on everybody.
Yeah, the AVM 90. I mean, that this is what I say about the 90, and I've said this on a lot of places on Facebook and YouTube, whatever. I don't think there's another processor out there that you can get this better than that unless you go to the Trinoff or what's the other
Storm.
one? Storm Audio. Yes, I really feel like that's the gap. I mean, the Anthem is freaking awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the AVM 70, the AVM 90. I mean, both all of them. I mean, they are good processors.
I demoed both in my room, and for me, I really couldn't tell a huge difference in the movies. But for music, the 90s certainly sound better, certainly. But then I was like, why don't I do all my 2-channel listening on the RTJ setup upstairs with the DACs and stuff up there?
Yeah.
So then, and I told everybody the same thing, is if my theater was my only room, if I did all my high res music listening and movies, I would have just kept the 90 because it just offered a better experience, especially in the music department, like 2-channel audio and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a good processor, and honestly, I feel like you have to ante up a lot of money to get something better. You know, I mean, that's just my opinion, and I've enjoyed it. I really have.
Well, Jeff says he's going to bed. Oh, Paul, if I know anybody that does calibrations around Wisconsin, I don't, but I got quite a few friends in Wisconsin that host get-togethers and stuff. I'll see if they have anybody around there, and I'll shoot you a message. So we're going to wrap this up, guys. We're about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes in. Certainly, like always, you know, if you guys haven't checked out Chris's channel, do it. You know, he's sharing updates all the time, just like we are over here. We just, you know, he's certainly not the kind of guy like, hey, look, I got all this money. That's what I got. He's excited to share his experiences just like we are. You know, we're all out here busting our ass for our cool toys, and we just kind of like to share it with everybody. And, you know, so, and hey, if you follow Chris, he said he's open to giving demos, man. I know people love demos. So hit him up. Maybe you guys can work something out, swing by, check out those 24s. And Chris, I certainly want to appreciate you taking time. Hey, you working your ass off, man, to come hang out with me for an hour and a half. That's pretty cool.
I've enjoyed it, Scott, man. I've been looking forward to this ever since you asked me to come over here, man. It's been an honor and a privilege to be here, man.
All right, cool. Well, I hope everybody has a good weekend. Chris, you and I will, I'm sure we'll chat more throughout the weekend.
Yes, sir.
But all right, everybody, enjoy your weekend. And if you're coming tomorrow to the car audio show, bring me a Red Bull. I'm going to be tired. All right, Chris. Nice hanging out, man. I'll shoot you a message probably on Sunday. All right, man?
Sounds good, brother.
All right. See everybody later.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.